Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
So today we're starting a new chapter, chapter 16.
Woohoo! We completed another chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. I mean, it's not just about completing the chapter. It was a very exciting chapter, by the way, yeah.
So the chapter's called The Two Doorkeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, Cursed by the Sages. I feel like we've already heard all this.
We heard all this.
Anyway, it's Canto 3, Chapter 16, Text 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay.
Text 1. Lord Brahma said, after thus congratulating the sages for their nice words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose abode is in the kingdom of God, spoke as follows. Text 2. The Personality of Godhead said, these attendants of mine, Jaya and Vijaya, by name, have committed a great offence against you because of ignoring me. Purport. To commit an offence at the feet of a devotee of the Lord is a great wrong. Even when a living entity is promoted to Vaikuntha, there is still the chance that he may commit offences. But the difference is that when one is in a Vaikuntha planet, even if by chance one commits an offence, he is protected by the Lord. This is a remarkable fact in the dealings of the Lord and the servitor, as seen in the present incident concerning Jaya and Vijaya. The word atikraman used herein indicates that in offending a devotee, one neglects the Supreme Lord himself.
It's very powerful, actually, that even in the spiritual world, you can commit an offense. It seems to be kind of against what the four Kumars were saying to Jaya and Vijaya, that persons who are in the right consciousness only should be in Vaikuntha. And of course, we understand that when you go back to the spiritual world, that you can only get back there if you're free from, unwanted things and anarthas in the heart. So it's interesting that, I guess it's just that, one could commit an offense. It's a completely accidental thing. But then the Lord would actually protect you. So this is very powerful. By mistake, the doormen held the sages from entering Vaikuntha Loka because they were engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. Their annihilation was not expected by advanced devotees. The Lord's presence on the spot was very pleasing to the hearts of the devotees. The Lord understood that the trouble was due to his lotus feet not being seen by the sages, and therefore he wanted to please them by personally going there. So the Lord had his own plan. He wanted to satisfy the four Kumars by revealing his lotus feet to them, which is what they were attracted to because of the smell of the aroma of the tulsi that had been offered to his feet, and therefore that converted them to be personalists. Something?
Yeah, I was just remembering when you told me the aroma in the morning.
Yeah, but you couldn't smell it.
No.
It was so strong. Tulsi Maharani is so healthy at the temple. And she's got these huge manjaris growing off her, and I sat her down next to Radhalandanishwar, and I thought, wow, that is so strong. And I said, see, smell. And she was like, what? So,
I must stuck my nose in there several times, even when I brought her upstairs from the altar, smelling her, the devotees are like, what are you doing? I can smell nothing. That's because I'm an offender, clearly.
Well, like Prabhupada said, you got to call a spade a spade. So, anyway. So, yeah. He wanted to please them by personally going there. The Lord is so merciful that even if there is some impediment for the devotee, He himself manages matters in such a way that the devotee is not bereft of having audience at his lotus feet. There is a very good example in the life of Haridas Thakur. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing at Jagannath Puri, Haridas Thakur, who happened to be Mohammedan by birth, was with him. In Hindu temples, especially in those days, no one but a Hindu was allowed to enter. Although Haridas Thakur was the greatest of all Hindus in his behavior, he considered himself a Mohammedan and did not enter the temple. Lord Chaitanya could understand his humility, and since he did not go to see the temple, Lord Chaitanya himself, who is non-different from Jagannath, used to come and sit with Haridas Thakur daily. Here in Srimad Bhagavatam, we also find this same behavior of the Lord. His devotees were prevented from seeing his lotus feet, but the Lord himself came to see them on the same lotus feet for which they aspired. It is also significant that he was accompanied by the goddess of fortune. The goddess of fortune is not to be seen by ordinary persons. But the Lord was so kind that although the devotees did not aspire for such an honor, he appeared before them with the goddess of fortune. So it seems it's very rare thing to have the darshan of the goddess of fortune. We know also everyone wants to capture the goddess of fortune and life in general. Everyone wants to reap the rewards. They may not want the goddess of fortune, but they definitely want the opulences of the goddess of fortune, or they want the opulences of Krishna without Krishna. Prabhupada used to say, people want the kingdom of God without God. So we want the opulences of God, but without God. But it's not so easy to get the mercy of the goddess of fortune. So, I like that. So they got darshan of everyone. So it's quite powerful. And I was thinking that, so it seems like hypothetically, had Jai and Vijay not stopped them, they would have gone through the gates and they would have gotten the darshan. So the Lord realized that my devotees, they impeded their progress for what was meant to happen. So now I have to go there to give them the darshan that they would have gotten had they made it through that gate. So, anyway, a few thoughts. Anything from your side?
Yeah, just that how the Lord doesn't ever leave you. Like Haridas Thakur couldn't come in to see Jagannath, so Jagannath came out to see him. And we don't always appreciate that, I would say, more so when you're being tested, But what we understand from the Acharyas, from Srila Prabhupada, from the scriptures is, Krishna don't ever leave you. I mean, he's in the heart. He doesn't ever leave you, but...
Yeah, I mean, even if we get into Haridas Thakur, when Haridas Thakur was being beaten in 22 or 23 or 24 marketplaces, I think it says different things in different places, but he was beaten in like those 22 marketplaces, then he didn't die, even though most people die after one or two marketplaces, never 22. And later, Lord Chaitanya revealed to him that when you were being beaten, I was there with you. I was laying across your back, and I was taking the beatings on my own back just to protect you. And Haridas Thakur was devastated. And then Lord Chaitanya lifted up his shirt or removed his chadar, and you could see the marks on the back of the Lord, and Haridas Thakur was overwhelmed at the compassion of the Lord that he would sacrifice himself just to protect his devotee. That's the mercy of the Lord. What is it? What's the word? Bhaktivedanta. Yes, Bhaktivedanta.
Okay, text 3. O great sages, I approve of the punishment that you who are devoted to me have meted out to them. Text 4. To me, the Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. The disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me, because the doormen are my servitors. I take this to be an offence by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has arisen.
I mean, that's so powerful. That's the mood of the Lord. He's begging forgiveness on behalf of Jai and Vijay. This is really powerful. Anyway, purport.
Right. Yes.
Now I'm done my purport. We can hear Prabhupada.
Purport. The Lord is always in favour of the Brahmanas and the cows, and therefore it is said, Go Brahmanyan Hitaya Cha. Lord Krishna, or Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is also the worshipful deity of the Brahmanas. In the Vedic literature and the Rig mantra hymns of the Rig Veda, it is stated that those who are actually Brahmanas always look to the lotus feet of Vishnu. Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashanti Surya. Those who are qualified Brahmanas worship only the Vishnu form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which means Krishna, Ram, and all Vishnu expansions. A so-called Brahmana who is born in the family of Brahmanas but performs activities aimed against the Vaishnavas cannot be accepted as a Brahmana. Because Brahmana means Vaishnav, and Vaishnav means Brahmana. One who has become a devotee of the Lord is also a Brahmana. The formula is Brahman Janatiti Brahmana. A Brahmana is one who has understood Brahman, and a Vaishnava is one who has understood the personality of Godhead. Brahman realization is the beginning of realization of the personality of Godhead. One who understands the personality of Godhead also knows the impersonal feature of the Supreme, which is Brahman. Therefore, one who becomes a Vaishnava is already a Brahmana. It should be noted that the glories of the Brahmana described in this chapter by the Lord himself refer to his devotee Brahmana or the Vaishnava. It should never be misunderstood that the so-called Brahmanas who are born in Brahmana families but have no Brahminical qualifications are referred to in this connection. Yeah. We have this whole Brahmana and caste thing obviously is very prominent in Hindus. So it's like this shop down the road, South London, don't need to name it. And the man that owns it is my dad's friend and he's a Brahmana. But then he goes out and gambles and smokes cigarettes. So I said, Dad, what sort of Brahmana is that? I said, don't be quiet. She said, be quiet, it's a Brahmana. What are you talking about? He's a Brahmana. Just be quiet, don't be rude. Well, I'm not being rude, is it? But yeah,
She's not being rude. She's not an offender or anything like that.
Anyway, this was when I also first started reading Prabhupada's books, and then that's the dangerous time
your
for
fanatical
neophyte.
phase.
Yeah, but then I was like, oh, so he's so and so uncle is a Brahmana, but Dad, you cover the shop for him, and he goes out to gamble, and he's stand outside the shop smoking. What's all that? And he weren't too impressed with my line of questioning, but. I just said that because of the last line where it said we don't misunderstand the so-called Brahmanas who are just born in Brahmana family, but they're not acting on that level.
Yeah, Brahman by birth, not necessarily by quality or character.
Activity.
Yeah, guna karma. Guna karma means by one's character, one's quality, and then by the way that one acts. Okay, text 5.
Yes.
A wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master, just as a spot of white leprosy on any part of the body pollutes all the skin. Confirmed. Purport. A Vaishnava therefore should be fully qualified. As stated in Bhagavatam, anyone who has become a Vaishnava has developed all the good qualities of the demigods. There are 26 qualifications mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. A devotee should always see that his Vaishnava qualities increase with the advancement of his Krishna consciousness. So this is the check or way that we can test ourselves or measure how we're progressing. A devotee should be blameless because any offense by the devotee is a scar on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee's duty is to be always conscious in his dealings with others, especially with another devotee of the Lord. There you go. So Vaisheshika Prabhu was mentioning this morning in class that, we have to be very careful. Vaishnava aparad, and people in the modern day have the tendency to fly off the handle and say any old darn thing they like, and then they put it on the internet and put it out there in cyber world for the whole world to see. So it used to just be you'd offend a Vaishnava face to face, or maybe behind his back to a couple of other people. Now people just write whatever they like and shoot it out there for the masses to see.
Yeah, Facebook or Vacha.
Facebook or Vacha, yeah. Do you want to read one more?
It's quite long, but...
Oh, is it? It's up to you. Whichever. You decide.
I thought I did, but...
Okay, so then we'll conclude here.
No, it's fine.
Well, I don't mind.
No. Stop now, we're going to run... Oh, jeepers. Text 6. Anyone in the entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, that's so gross, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. That's crazy.
That's very, very, very intense. Yes.
Purport. Real purification can take place in human society if its members take to Krishna consciousness. This is clearly stated in all Vedic literature. Anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness in all sincerity, even if he is not very advanced in good behavior, is purified. A devotee can be recruited from any section of human society, although it is not expected that everyone in all segments of society is well behaved. As stated in this verse and in many places in Bhagavad Gita, even if one is not born in a Brahmana family, or even if he is born in a family of Chandalas, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is immediately purified. In Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, verses 30 to 32, it is clearly stated that even though a man is not well behaved, if he simply takes to Krishna consciousness, he is understood to be a saintly person. As long as a person is in this material world, he has two different relationships in his dealings with others. One relationship pertains to the body, and the other pertains to the spirit. As far as bodily affairs or social activities are concerned, although a person is purified on the spiritual platform, it is sometimes seen that he acts in terms of his bodily relationships. If a devotee born in the family of a Chandala, the lowest caste, is sometimes found engaged in his habitual activities, he is not to be considered a Chandala. In other words, a Vaishnava should not be evaluated in terms of his body. The Shastra states that no one should think the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, and no one should think that a person coming from a lower caste family who has taken to Krishna consciousness is still of the same low caste. These attitudes are forbidden because anyone who takes to Krishna consciousness is understood to be fully purified. He is at least engaged in the process of purification. And if he sticks to the principle of Krishna consciousness, he will very soon be fully purified. The conclusion is that if one takes to Krishna consciousness with all seriousness, he is to be understood as already purified, and Krishna is ready to give him protection by all means.
No.
The Lord assures herein that he is ready to give protection to his devotee, even if there is no need to cut
No,
off.
even if there is need.
Even if there is need to cut off part of his meaning Krishna's own body.
That's heavy stuff.
Yes, that's true love.
Well, no, it's it's glorious.
That's love.
It's heavy that the Lord would be willing and able to do that. But that's what he's prepared to do. And we see here that he specifically makes that statement, that he's prepared to do that. So become a pure devotee. You can't lose. Dedicate your life to serving Krishna, and he will look after you. He will protect you. Have no fear. Ma suchaha. Have no fear. I will protect you.
Yes.
So like that. Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.